Hey everybody, this is Josh from Haven Comics. We are here on Thursday night for a very, very, very special episode of Shop Talk. So stick around and see what you can learn. I know everybody is going to be really excited about tonight's episode because we have gotten more feedback and more people asking um, what's happening tonight and is this really for real or is this a joke than we have any other show. So we're going to keep the chit chat to a minimum. We're going to get this ball rolling and bring on the people everybody here is coming on to see, starting with R2D2 Head.
Everybody keeps saying like there's something special going on tonight. I have no idea what they're talking about.
No idea?
No idea whatsoever. I don't know of anything that we could be doing tonight.
Nothing at all, huh?
Or what the conversation might include.
That's fascinating. I thought you were more on top of things than that. Thought maybe we would be discussing something like this.
Oh. Yeah.
Or
I'm
that.
still upset about that because I want the companion piece. And
This
I can't
one?
get the companion piece. Yeah, because it was, a commission.
Yeah, I know a guy who has it. He might be able to convince Corbin to make you a copy.
Okay, cool. That works for me. But honestly, I don't really want to talk to you. I want to talk to like who's right down there that nobody else can see that we can see.
Well, first of all, let's go on real quick and see who we got. We have got Christine. What's happening, Christine? How are you? We got Nick in the house, and I know Nick's wife is watching because she's very excited about tonight. Christine says this is very exciting, and Mike says, "Who's here to see Alan?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, nobody's here to see Alan. Nobody's here to see me. We are here tonight to hear from the one, the only AJ from the Disney Food Blog. Now, you may be wondering why you don't see AJ, and that's because you never see AJ. You've all watched her videos. You know how they go. It's these awesome videos, and then there's this voice, this incredible, powerful voice that just comes over everything with this lyrical music. It's fantastic. And we want to keep true to the spirit of the videos. So, AJ, we are very pleased to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Alan and Josh. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm sorry. Nobody wants to see this anyway. I'm just an old mom. You don't want to see this.
Honestly, this really got weird for me because we were talking backstage and everything. And now it's like just the voice. And it literally sounds like the video that I heard at work today. So it's like, it just kind of got a little bit surreal.
You were watching videos at work today. Is that what you're trying to admit to there?
I don't know what you're talking about. We won't be discussing that at all.
Wait a minute, Alan, didn't you tell me backstage that's all you do at work? You just watch videos all the time? Isn't that what you said?
I thought we were friends. I mean, I'm getting called
She's
out.
calling you out.
I can go ahead and start off with the most controversial question that I'm going to ask if we're just going to go ahead and bypass being friends.
Oh.
I mean, if you're ready for it, here it is.
Bring it, Alan.
Does Figment deserve his own movie?
Oh, I don't really care.
Oh, see, that's not what I was wanting. Josh is upset.
I'm trying to stir up the controversy.
I know.
You're trying to bring drama, Alan. There's no drama around Figment. Figment can have his own movie, cannot have his own movie. Everybody's going to get mad either way. So I'll go see it. Sure. Why not?
Okay. Well, then if that one didn't work,
it's going to tick off everybody.
Since
everybody will be mad. Even if they want a Figment movie, it won't be good enough. If they don't want a Figment movie, they'll just be mad in general. Like whatever. I'll go see it. I'm a big Epcot 80s Epcot fan. So Figment's in my blood. So I'll go see it.
Okay, well then since that one didn't stir up any controversy, let's just go ahead and go with the true most deep dive. This is the moment where somebody's probably going to be walking away in tears. Question. Okay. Why does everybody hate the turkey leg so much?
Oh, I know. Poor thing.
Who hates the turkey leg?
That comes with its own handle.
It does. I think that the turkey leg My big issue with the turkey leg is that because it's like literally 1,000 calories, it cuts out your body's opportunity to eat even more Disney food. So it's like, if you're gonna have it, you need to train in advance to be able to have that plus 3 or 4 other meals during your day.
I have been training for decades. This is the fight of my life.
Right, exactly. It's a lot of protein. Your body doesn't know. Body takes a long time to process that. It's not going to get hungry again for a long time. That's a huge problem when you're in Disney because you're only there for a few days and you only have so much time.
We walk so much at Disney. I don't think I could get full. I mean, it's like I constantly need the calories.
You are blessed. You're blessed.
No, I'm just fat. I mean, I'm ready for stuff like that.
I got no problem with the turkey leg. It is. I think it can handle the flack it gets. It knows it's strong.
Agreed with that too. The only problem with the turkey leg is you hit a point where you get to 2/3, 3/4 the way through it. Yeah. When you start looking at it and going, okay, I think I don't want this anymore. And you go very quickly from I think I'm done to now I am revulsed by this. This is no, I can't.
Very quick about face.
I'm the exact opposite at Disney. Whenever they put something in front of me, it's like, I don't know, a switch flips and I just keep going until I have cleaned everything off.
Wow.
Can you share a turkey leg, or is that like sharing an ice cream cone?
But that's the definition of true love, is sharing an ice cream cone and a turkey leg.
Depends on how much you do love that person. Exactly.
It really does. So before we get rolling down the road with any more of Alan's controversial and hard-hitting questions, I have a question for you, and that is, what is your how did you become this person who spends all this time, puts in all this work, talking about not just food at Disney World, but every new bit of news in all the parks? How did you become this person? What did you just wake up one day and go, this light bulb came off and you said, you know what I'm going to do?
Well, my mom and dad loved each other very much. And
that's a good beginning.
Start at the very beginning.
The very, very beginning. We're gonna go back to Buffalo, New York.
We're starting in the making of me.
Right. Exactly.
It was a long winter's night. The power had gone out. They needed to stay warm.
It was. I mean, I was born in September, so it definitely was a long winter's night, I'm sure. Let's see. Origin story of the version of me that is Disney Food Blog now. I was living in New York City. I was living and working in New York City, and New York is stressful and exhausting to live in. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I personally felt that it was a pretty stressful place to live. And I was on my commute to work each day, which was on the Staten Island Ferry. I was reading Disney guidebooks. Now, my parents had brought us to Disney. We had gone to the beach in Florida for spring breaks when I was a kid, and we'd go do like 1 or 2 days at Disney. We'd drive in the early morning from whatever beach we had like a motel at or whatever, and then we would drive back after the fireworks. But so when I got to be, a grown up and I was living in New York and I had a job, I wanted to escape from New York, and Disney sort of became my escape, right? That's my band name. Disney sort of became my escape. I was reading all the guidebooks. I was on message boards back then. We didn't have smartphones or social media. We had message boards on what was the internet then, and it just kind of became, all consuming, I guess, and started to run up my credit cards going to Disney World. And I realized, why I know so much about this. Then I started dating my now husband, and we wanted to have a hobby that we could do together because he did not live in New York. We were long distance dating, and we decided to start a website. And We started a website in 2007, and then we couple of years later, we started Disney Food Blog because I knew that no niche Disney blogs existed at that point. Any Disney website or Disney blog covered all of Disney. And so I was like, well, I love to eat the food there. That's what I love to plan the most. That's what I love to do the most, but it's a lot of money to eat there. And I want to see what the stuff looks like before I go so I can make good decisions about what I want to spend my money on. So that was sort of the origin story. That's why we started to do that niche site.
So is it safe to say that you have literally tried every dish at Disney?
They change them so often, but I have eaten at every restaurant in Disney, and there are probably some dishes that they've introduced in the last couple of months that I haven't eaten. But anything that's been there for over a year or two, I've probably tried.
Okay, so is there, and you may not be able to say this, but I'm going to ask anyway, is there one dish at Disney that you're just like, no, never eating that again? Or is there one restaurant at Disney that you're just like, no, I'm done with that place?
Probably, I wouldn't say there's not a restaurant at Disney I'm done with, because the thing I like to say is the only thing that's consistent about Disney restaurants is that they're inconsistent. And so you've got chefs coming in and out. You've got menus changing. You've got food sourcing changing drastically all the time at Disney restaurants. You've got different servers. And so a restaurant, like I've gone to Le Cellier for lunch and dinner on the same day. I had a great meal at lunch. I had a horrible meal at dinner. So you just really, I can't ever discount an entire restaurant because next year it could be the best restaurant in Disney. In terms of dishes, I'm not a huge like sushi fan or seafood fan. I will eat lots of fried seafood. I like that. But I'm not super knowledgeable about like sushi. So probably I'm not going to order that much sushi. I'm not a huge salad eater. Shocker. So there's no like, I'm not like craving, there aren't any like salads I'm craving there necessarily. I've eaten them. I do eat them for reviews, but it's not my favorite.
So I would ask this, is there any moment that really clicked for you where you were at Disney, you were eating a meal someplace and you just said, my God, I need to tell the world about this?
The first time I can sort of remember that happening, I've always been a big sweets fan and dessert fan. And the first time I can remember that happening was they used to have what they called cake cups at Cheshire Cafe in Magic Kingdom. They haven't had them for many years, probably 10 years. Yeah. But those were basically, a little backstory on me. Like I said, I love sweets. I love frosting. Sure, you can't tell that from the videos. But when I was living in London, going to school in London, my parents sent me a pound, maybe 2 pounds of the lard-based frosting that they make at our local bakery. They just sent it to me in London, and I just like ate it out of the container. Anyway, these cake cups were very frosting heavy, and it was that lard-based buttercream, that really good, thick, can stand on its own frosting. And I loved those things. And I was like, oh, everybody needs to know about these.
Let me just inject something here. Kaylisa, I'm not the only one that just likes to eat the frosting.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just want to point that out.
I went by Publix one time on my lunch break and bought just a thing of icing. I was happy. I was good.
You pass all those jokers over there at the cold bar and the getting their soup and sandwiches, and like, I'm just gonna get the frosting.
Why are you getting wings when they got buttercream? I mean, come on.
It's true. Oh my gosh. And people always say to me like, oh, this is just, this is too sweet. I'm like, there's no such thing as too sweet. That doesn't exist. So.
Okay. So in your videos, you talk a lot about food. You talk about like the resorts and the, value and everything. One thing, and if you've talked about it, it's just something that I've missed somewhere. What is your favorite ride at Disney? And it can be any of the parks.
Oh, I don't talk about it much because it changes all the time, you know? Let's see. Honestly, I think the thing I look forward to riding most these days is probably like Spaceship Earth. You know, I don't tend to ride that much anymore because when I'm in Disney World, I usually go solo. I leave my family at home because I'm working nonstop while I'm there. I have a lot of food to eat. I have a lot of meetings to have. And so when
this is work. Somebody bring me another fork.
That's right. No, listen, Josh, we need to talk about it because when you're eating like 10 meals a day, it's your body just.
I need two cinnamon rolls. One.
So what I'm asking is,
one to eat.
Are you hiring? Because this sounds like a perfect job for me.
Absolutely, we're hiring. I will send you the application. But when
do I really need to fill out an application?
Now, I will say this, and maybe we'll get your take on this. I think it was Kaylisa who brought this idea up, and if not, I apologize for the misattribution to whoever did. But Kaylisa, okay, she's posting it now. An idea on the People Mover where it's like a progressive dinner. You just get to go through, and then like at the drive-through where they set the plastic tray fits over your window.
Yeah.
You're sitting on the People Mover. You come around, they pop a tray on there. You eat on your way around. When you come back, they just pop a tray with different food on it, and you keep eating. How perfect would that be?
I think that would be great, and we can turn it into like a charity function. So like you have to those all-night dance-a-thons. I think we should have a People Mover-a-thon, and you see how many times you can ride it around, and they can just plop the food on the tray as you go by.
You know, right after they reopened the People Mover, I guess it was it last summer when they reopened it after they did the refurbishment and everything?
Yeah.
Josh from Resort TV 1, I think they rode it like 22 times in one day because, I mean, he stayed live the entire time he was doing it.
Oh, wow.
And he would get off and get back in line.
And I believe, if I'm correct, Lou Mongello is the one that killed your treat over there at Cheshire Cat Cafe.
Oh, he did?
I believe that was Lou Mongello. The minute he did one of those 5-second or 5-minute videos about something, if it was food related, it went away right away after that.
Really?
So you can ask Lou, but I'm pretty sure that he's the one who killed that.
I will take this up with Lou because I know Lou relatively well, and I feel like he would like that treat. So
yeah, that's why he highlighted it. It was something he thought was good, and then it went away immediately.
Yeah, he probably feels real bad about it. I'll make sure to make him feel worse.
Yeah, he needs something to feel bad about, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will put that on my Lou list.
Do you maintain a list of things?
I don't have a Lou list, but it just started.
It just started.
Love it. Oh goodness. I remember when I was a kid, we used to, so many memories that you don't really think about until they hit you later on. But I saw a picture recently, and the whole thing came rushing back. I remembered the holding it. I remembered how it felt. But they used to sell the drinks. You could get fruit juices in the parks, and they came in these plastic containers that were the shape of the fruit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I miss those. I want one. I want grape juice out of one of those somewhere. So bad.
I guarantee you that like Disney didn't manufacture those, so you can probably still get them if you do a little Google search. We can probably get you like those grapes with the grape juice in it.
That's what I want more than anything right this moment. It's the best.
I mean, all I'm sitting here thinking is the backyard barbecue burger from Sci-Fi Drive-In. I don't know why I love that thing. That's like the one restaurant that we have to eat at every time we go.
All right, Bill's coming in with a hot question here, and this is a good one.
Oh wait, no, I just found the juice container. It's on Amazon.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
No, I did Google it, and I see the picture of it, and
Are you serious?
No, I'm gonna figure out where it is. We're gonna find it. We're going to find it for you.
I love it. She just got him all excited, then just like crushed him.
See, she's a Buffalo Bills fan, so she knows exactly what that feels like and how
I know
to do
how
it.
I know how to destroy people's just will to live, honestly.
My hopes and dreams, I have been dashed.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill
It's
has a good
true.
question here. Which do you like more, Not So Scary or Very Merry?
I like Very Merry better. I like Christmas better than Halloween. It's just one of those things. My mom's a big Christmas nut. She's got all bajillions of Christmas decorations. Why is I don't know. I didn't price them.
Well, she's not laying guilt. I think she just wants to know if you have any insight into why.
I don't know. Okay. See, I apologize, Spider Girl. I can't see what your name is. I apologize.
I think it's because of the snow on Main Street.
The Snope is very expensive. No, I don't.
I think that's what it is.
That's a really good question. It could be that people who are I'm totally speculating. People who are going at the holiday time are expecting to pay more money anyway, and there's higher demand because more people go during that time frame, and so they can get more for it. My guess is it's priced based on demand and not based on the cost of the actual event.
They have figured out that line pretty well.
Yeah.
That they make a living on that.
Yeah.
So another question for you. I know that there's been some fits and starts a little bit with the Magic Band Plus. Is there any application that you can think of where they might have some value or some use for that, the technologies that theoretically will afford us to create enhanced experiences? Do you think any of that will spill over into the restaurants?
No. Like I doubt it. I mean, I don't know what they would do. Maybe they can, even like with paying with your Magic Band in the restaurants before, it was always like a hassle for the servers to go get the little things so you could pay with your Magic, So I feel like they wouldn't unless they create some sort of a restaurant that has, interactive. And another reason why they might not is because not everybody has it. And so it might kind of cost quite a bit of money to make that technology something that they, pour their efforts into in the restaurants when probably the majority of people aren't going to have a Magic Band Plus at the restaurants. So like they could use that money elsewhere. So my guess is no, but they also have made it so that those things interact in a very basic way with like certain rides and stuff. Like when you walk off the ride, your Magic Band Plus lights up weird. And it's like, well, why? That seems like a lot of effort and money for just kind of not a great outcome, but okay. So I'm going to say no, but they make choices sometimes that I don't understand.
I was thinking that maybe when for a character meal or something, for one of the ones where some of the characters actually speak to you, where they might come up and just know your name when they walk up, right?
They tried that though, right? They tried that with It's a Small World, that your Magic Band, when you scanned your Magic Band to get in, it would say goodbye, so-and-so, your name. It's like at Universal, the ET ride is supposed to know who you are, and ET is supposed to say goodbye, Josh, or whatever. Like they tried to do that and it's broken all the time. And I feel like if they really wanted that technology to work, they'd figure out how to make it work on the ride before they made like a princess get some little kid's name wrong because the technology didn't work,
Fair play. I'd like to think that they would fix the Yeti too, but
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's a heartbreaker for me, that one. Oh.
I know there for a while we had like, a lot of people screaming they hated Genie Plus. A lot of people screaming they love Genie Plus. We've had, we've heard good things, we've heard bad things about
like that Figment movie, isn't it?
Yeah, like that Figment movie. In your estimate has been like the best change that they made that everybody just absolutely hated, but was actually a good change?
Oh, it's a good question.
I'm known for them every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. A change they've made that everybody hated that is a good change. switching the scalloped potatoes to noodles at Ohana. That's about as controversial as I'm willing to get on this question.
That was honestly, that was pretty dang controversial as far as I'm concerned.
It was. Do you remember that? Oh my gosh, I was so mad about it. But I mean, noodles make more sense, and they are. I will admit that they are delicious. Although I was very, very upset, and I think at the time they changed it because there was all that stuff going on with Mayor Bloomberg in New York about the trans fats. You know, remember they pass all those laws, take the trans fats. And I imagine the potatoes maybe had trans fats in them. I don't know, but the noodles are fine. I'll take the noodles. But then everybody lost their minds last year, 2 years ago, actually pre-COVID, when they tried to switch to rice at Ohana. Everyone lost their minds, and then they tried to switch to rice again, and everyone lost their minds again. And I'm like, y'all hated the noodles when the noodles first came. So why don't you think you like the rice in 10 years? But
well, they don't remember now that they hated the noodles when they first came. Now the noodles are just how it is.
The three of us are the only ones old enough to remember that. Everybody else is a child.
Oh, good gravy. So what is one of your most epic food stories from Disney World? And then what is one of the lowest moments of your food stories from Disney World? Like something that just was bad.
Well, one of my most epic, an epic moment did pop into my head. So I'll answer that question first. Do you remember, I know you watched the videos, so you've probably heard me talk about it. Do you remember the Twilight Feast at the Polynesian Village Resort, or at least it existing? Because I had never heard of that until probably 5 or 6 years ago, but it had been around for a long time. And it was the, the Ohana dinner that you could order to your room. It was room service Ohana dinner. And I went and stayed at the Polynesian for one night, literally just to get that, because I'd never heard of it and I'd never had it. And I was like, we need to try this. Like, what in the world? And so that was an epic, it was actually a tropical storm outside. It was horrible rain outside. And it was just me in my little room all by myself with my big old Ohana dinner, just hanging out. It was pretty epic. I don't know. I tend to like to spend time alone with my food instead of having to be with others at the same time. So
you can focus.
Yeah. It's just us together. Spending that special time. So that was perfect. I'm like, it's pouring rain outside. I can't go anywhere. No one can come here. And it's just me and my noodles and my bread pudding. And this is exactly where we need to be.
Oh, the bread pudding.
The bread pudding at 1900 Park Fair with that cream sauce, vanilla stuff that you put on it. The custard at breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's the stuff right there. That is worth the 1.4 million it takes to take a family of 4 to Disney.
Oh my goodness, right? Oh, it's
I mean, I you know what? I'll call my travel agent tomorrow. I need some of that bread pudding they have.
I wonder if that restaurant is going to reopen. I wonder what they're going to do with that. I mean, most of the restaurants with face characters have not brought back their face characters. So I wonder if they're just waiting, because most of the characters at that restaurant were face characters. So I wonder if they're just waiting until they have enough staff to bring back their face characters. I don't know.
Speaking of restaurant closures, I've got one that hits near and dear for me, and I'm pretty bitter about it. Restaurant Marrakesh.
Yeah.
I always thought it was underrated and underattended. So I understand why, if they looked at it from a dollars and cents perspective, maybe it wasn't the most valuable, but I loved that restaurant. I loved the food. I loved the atmosphere. Loved everything about it. And we haven't been in a couple of years. The last time we were in the parks was 2 days before we went on a cruise in February of 2019. And then COVID and there were some other things going on too. But our first time back in the park will be here in a couple of months. and looking and seeing like, okay, Restaurant Marrakesh not reopened, it's never reopening. That's it.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah. Well, remember all those restaurants in Morocco were run by a third party.
Yep.
And that company also ran Paradiso 37.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, Bill. Yes, you can. You can get lots of Dole Whip in Disney Springs. They just opened a whole Dole Whip place. But so basically what happened is I think there was some sort of an issue with, I don't know if it's the payments or something. Anyway, bottom line, Disney took over the management of all of the Morocco pavilion, because the entire pavilion was managed by third party. And so they reopened Spice Road. Marrakesh right now is an Advent Health or it's some sort of insurance company. Go hang out and drink water in there. And I can't imagine that Disney's not going to reopen some sort of food service in there and in Tangerine Cafe. I mean, Tangerine Cafe is basically an Epcot festival booth at this point, but I imagine they will use that space for a restaurant at some point, but I don't know when, and I don't know what. So that's a very weird story, that whole backstory with that.
The Tangerine Cafe consistently rated as one of the best restaurants in all of Disney, let alone Epcot.
Right.
And for that to be repurposed as it has been, I know a lot of people are not happy about that.
Yeah. I think it's circumstantial. It's one of those things where it's like, when you've got enough stuff falling apart in your house and you have to prioritize, I think that's probably what's going on. It's like, well, we just have to go deal with everything else that's broken. Like we've got a giant pit in the middle of Epcot that we've got to put our money and time into. And right now these, nothing's falling down in the Morocco pavilion. So we'll just let it sit there until we can get to it, kind of thing, probably.
In some of your videos, you refer to it as a Walcott.
Yeah.
And that we were literally there January, just before the shutdown. And was it 2020? My years blur together.
Yeah.
We were there in January of that year. And that is literally like the truest thing that you could possibly call it.
I know I can't take credit for it. A bunch of other people call it Walcott, but yeah, it is so upsetting, especially if you're a giant Epcot fan, and I feel like it's been this way long enough now that there's I like to say there are 5-year-olds who have never ridden the train in the Magic Kingdom because it's literally been closed for 5 years. It's like there are kids who consider themselves big Disney fans who have never really seen Epcot without a huge pit in the middle of it.
Yeah, so Bill's got another good question here. What did you think of the announcements from D23? I noticed there weren't a whole lot of announcements, hard announcements for Disney World.
Not a whole lot of actual information. What was the rest of Bill's question? What did I think of the announcements? And then
he said he's bummed that Tron's not opening till spring 2020.
I'm so surprised by that because they have been testing that ride for such a long time.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's if that's because of extenuating circumstances. Either they don't have the staff or they don't have the area around it finished the way that it should be. I bet the ride is rideable now. I mean, what do I know? I'm not an engineer, but I think that there's a lot of T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted that is making it take as long as it's taking. But
I'd be willing to bet that I'm not going to be able to ride it regardless because I'm too big to be able to ride Flights of Passage.
Are you?
I'm 6'6" and 420 pounds.
Yeah.
And I can't get my knees under Flight of Passage with my feet far enough forward for the thing to lock in behind my calves.
Oh, it's a bummer.
Because the roof on the little sidecar kind of thing you're sitting in is too low.
Yeah.
For me to have my feet flat on the floor.
I don't know.
I think Tron is going to have a different mechanism, but I think they're going to lock you into that in a similar way. And I think I'm probably not going to fit on it.
Well, they have it running in Shanghai. I wonder if there are if there are specs on that.
Well, see,
I've heard that they've made it bigger because the one in Shanghai was tight even for more regular size folks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem with Avatar, I think they learned their lesson on that because that entire ride was developed in China and Japan. And what they did was they actually designed the ride vehicle based on the average height of a person over there. And then if you actually look, some of the, I just call them the motorcycles that are in Pandora, the little ride cars, you'll get a couple of them. They're a little bit bigger. They did try to order some and bring them in and swap them out, but it was going to cost way too much money
to get all of them.
To do all of them. So that's why they got stuck with so many smaller of the little ride cars. So I'm sure they had to have at least learn their lesson on that moving forward with Tron.
I would hope so.
It's an interesting.
So, AJ, you said that every time you go to Disney, you leave the family at home, you're constantly working.
Yeah.
So on the rare occasion that you do get to go with the family, and it is, sorry, y'all are just there on vacation. What is the one restaurant that you're just like, look, I don't care if y'all go or not, you're with me or against me, get out of my way, I'm going to eat here?
Let's see. Well, the way I'm going to answer that is like the places that I go by myself. Like I said, I like to eat food, just me and the food, right? And so when I do have some time when I'm there by myself and working, there are certain places that I'm like, this is where I want to go twice. This is where I want to go, even though we've already paid to review it, but I will pay again to go back because I like it this much. That's what I'm going to use as my category for your question. So places like that include Le Cellier. I like Le Cellier a lot. I think that's a nostalgic choice because I've always loved it. And even
Poutine.
So I like Le Cellier. Let's see, where else do I try to get into even if I can't? Ohana. I do like to go to Ohana for dinner. I mean, I know it's cliche at this point.
I hear a lot of people got upset about the noodles.
I heard some got upset about the rice.
What? Where'd you guys hear that?
You know how Disney rumors are.
It's weird. It's weird. They just keep saying the same thing over and over again. When
are they bringing back Mr. Toad?
Yeah, never. That's what's wild about going to Disneyland is you go ride those dark rides and the queue lines are so tiny. Like, I'm like, do I have to turn sideways to get through this line at Snow White? Like, what in the world? They're just so tiny. So I'm shocked that those are still, functional, but
I will say I love Disneyland. There's something that just feels, and maybe it's because I'm just so used to the hugeness of Walt Disney World, but there's something that just feels quaint about Disneyland that I absolutely love. I love all the dark rides, Pinocchio, and I love that they still have Mr. Toad. I think the Alice in Wonderland ride is spectacular. I love it. But I find it strange that they put a lot of them, the stories are out of order. There are scenes that are just not in the right place and they don't make any sense. I'm like, what are you doing? Why is this here? And they did the same thing with the Winnie the Pooh out there in Bear Country. I'm like, why is this scene in the wrong place? That's not how it goes in the story. It makes no sense here. Why did you put it in the wrong place? And they did it on several of the attractions. I just found that very weird and disconcerting. I loved the rides, but it was very odd.
I will pay more attention then when I go. Because I'm trying to think of the Alice in Wonderland, to me, that ride is just a bunch of, like, I don't know. Someone was like high when they designed that. Like, it's just a bunch of weird rides, like it's just weird rooms all jumbled together. Like it doesn't really make any sense.
It's a strange little vignette, but you talk about somebody being high when they designed it. They were just following Lewis Carroll, who was clearly high when he wrote those books.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast that we need to go into at some point, because I'm a big British history nerd, and he's a interesting.
How have you and I not been hanging out this whole time?
I don't know. We're best friends
my kind of person.
I know. We gotta listen. We'll trade podcasts after this.
I know what she said, but all I heard was she wants to come back.
Well, that's an open invitation, AJ. You can come back anytime.
So I know that we don't have much time left with you, but I did want to share something with you that's kind of really from our world, but the comic book world, but it does involve our shared love of Disney. Josh is better with the timelines than I am. But this was about 5 years ago. These books right here came out. So I'm gonna try to do this where there's not that much of a glare. Actually,
I'm gonna embiggen you there.
Embiggen me. It's like a superpower. So
you have to tilt them forward. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. So these were done by Dark Horse Comics. Actually, this particular one was. But what is different about this comic is about 5 or 6 years ago on one of our Disney trips, my daughter, who's standing behind me, these are actually her comic books because she collects also.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did was we actually took our comics with us. I took her comics with us, and we got them signed.
Uh-huh.
So that's legit Snow White's signature from Magic King. Well, no, where was we at when we got? No, this one was at
Epcot?
Storybook Dining.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then she actually kissed it.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah,
well, I'm telling her I'm a comic book next time.
Well, I've got Snow White's DNA. We can make our own Snow White.
Oh my, that's creepy.
These were actually some of our favorite ones, just the way they did the covers.
Oh, I love the
we were able to take them and track down, and that was honestly one of the funnest things about this trip was taking these comic books around to the different princesses and getting them to sign them.
Oh, that's so fun. I really like that artwork on that one.
This one right here, actually, we almost caused Pocahontas to break character with this one.
Oh, really?
She saw it, and her first reaction was, "Oh my God, this is so cute!" And then she stopped herself, and she automatically started talking about that particular day they were going down the river.
Oh, I love that! Oh,
that's
cool.
fantastic.
But it was funny because all of the princesses, they actually ignored the others that were on the covers
because they don't know who they are.
Exactly. And then Donald on his just wrote that he was number one.
Yeah.
But these right here, these are not expensive comic books by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, this is something that's actually these aren't that bad. So we do have our Disneyland birthday party.
Aww. I wonder where you got that.
I have no idea where I got that. Probably got it the same place I got Jiminy Cricket.
Yep, that'd be right.
But
probably
the big
some
thing,
weird comic book store.
Yeah, some little strange one. But now this one right here is definitely for the people our age. I'm going to say that a good 90% of the people watching will not even know what this is. I'm just going to hold it up.
But you have been raiding the back issues back there, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. I've been raiding the back issues. And you think
that's my husband's favorite movie.
Great movie.
This is a great movie. But you think this isn't one of my most prized possessions? Yes, it is. But wait a minute, Josh. We want to talk about raiding your back issues. Yeah, I've raided a few back issues.
Uh-oh.
But what I really wanted to show you, and these are really cool. My personal opinion, I think these are actually disappearing. They're kind of hard to find, and it's definitely a piece of Disney history that whenever we find them, I automatically buy them from Josh because I'm putting them back and saving them for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time she's grown, you probably won't be able to find these anywhere.
Yeah.
These actual magazines. Yep. And one of the coolest thing about these is when you open them up, they actually, it's like that thin newspaper type paper.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just getting, and so literally,
yeah.
I mean, it's a piece of Disney history that we're actually probably going to lose, say, over the next 10, 15 years, just because you just can't find them in this type of condition. So yeah, I wanted to share something from kind of our combined world that you probably hadn't seen a whole lot of.
Oh, I love it. You're gonna send those over?
You will have to fight this one to the death for them. Yeah, whenever we run across these older Disney comics, I always pick them up for her just so we can put them back and save them for her one day.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, we're getting to a point where it's just not something that she's going to be able to find anywhere when she's older.
Yep.
So
and then you're preserving history really for everybody at the same time.
Well, not just that, but also tracking them down together, then running around the parks and getting the one sign that we signed. I mean, it's memories that she'll always have.
So I guarantee you the princesses don't get a whole lot of comics to sign.
Yeah.
No,
and I imagine they all were thrilled with that.
Yeah, we had a blast doing that. But that was just something from our little neck of the woods that I figured you might get a kick out of.
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic.
So while we have you, AJ, I'm going to enlist your expertise.
All right.
In a timely fashion, because I can get on the phone at 6 o'clock my time tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And start making my dining reservations.
5:45. Don't get on the phone. Get online. You're getting online, right?
I'm going to get online.
Yep.
I've always been more of a phone person. I'll be logged into my Disney experience.
Yes.
I got 7 nights.
Uh-huh.
What are some... I have my personal favorites. I have places we've been, places we want to try, but what are some places that we just absolutely need to go to?
So are you one of those people that goes back to the same places every time you go to Disney World?
Sometimes. We'll go on streaks for sure. And there are places we want to hit every time, like Restaurant Marrakesh, but since that's out the window.
Right. You can't
Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, you brought it up, so. Okay.
But yeah, there are places, but we're definitely not afraid of trying new stuff. We love to hit the new places.
Well, tell me some of the places you love.
Oh boy. Be probably harder to tell you places I don't. Love California Grill.
Uh-huh.
I'm so glad to see Kona Cafe coming back.
Yeah.
Because I'm really looking forward to that.
Have you been to Ohana? Just kidding.
Right. I've heard that it's got noodles.
Did you hear? Yeah, there are some noodles I wanted to let you know about. I don't know if I've mentioned them.
I was going to go to the Tomorrowland Noodle Station, but that's always closed. So that's another question I have for you in a minute. But yeah, Tiffin's. Man, we love it all.
So you like signature, you like high end.
We certainly do, but I was going to ask specifically too about some of the places like in Galaxy's Edge. I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet.
Yeah, Bill was asking about Galaxy's Edge too.
So what's I mean, do I need to eat a Ronto wrap, or should I be going somewhere else? Should I be going to Oga's?
So
I don't know.
After I first went to Galaxy's Edge, I said, what you need to know about eating in Galaxy's Edge is not to eat there. Because there's not a lot of super great necessary stuff that you need to eat in Galaxy's Edge. It's more of a situation where, I mean, Ronto wraps are the best things to get there. And that's a situation where you can just sort of grab it on the go. You know, you're headed to Rise of the Resistance, you grab a Ronto wrap, you eat it on your way over. Done and done. But Oga's Cantina is an interesting thing. If you like Star Wars, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's sort of a rite of passage. You got to go at least once, sort of thing. Most of the drinks they have there, if you're not drinking beer, most of the drinks are bachelorette party drinks. They're all very sugary. They're all real, they're bright colors and they're pre-mixed.
Really? I'm surprised by that.
Oh yeah, you can't go in there and order like an old fashioned or a vodka and Coke. Like every drink they serve is pre-mixed. It's on the menu. It's not like a full bar. So you order what's on the menu or you don't get anything. So Oga's is a novelty place that if you like Star Wars, go in, take your pictures, drink your fuzzy tauntaun and go, oh, my mouth is numb, and then you leave. So there's not a lot in Galaxy's Edge I would say you absolutely have to eat or drink, honestly, unless you're a huge Star Wars fan and you have to go into Oga's because you can't see it otherwise. So that's what I'd say about GE. There was one place I wanted to ask it. Have you been along the same lines as Oga's? Have you been to Space 220 yet?
I have not.
You haven't. You haven't been there since 2019.
Nope.
So Space 220 is another one of those one and done, but you should at least see it once because you're a Disney fan, and you'll be like, oh, this is it's an experience more than a good meal. But it's interesting to say you've done it. So and that books up super fast. So that's another one. Again, I would probably recommend go ahead and book a lounge reservation versus the whole dinner reservation because it is prefix and you have to pay a certain amount. If you sit in the dining room, if you sit in the lounge, it's the same experience, but you can buy a la carte items. So you don't have to spend the $70 or whatever, $74, whatever it is. You can just go up and have a drink and an appetizer and call it a day. So
you're not wrong there, Blue Hellion.
So AJ, we've got, and I know I've got some friends. Actually, Bill and his family are going, getting ready to go back. What is the one restaurant that you would suggest for picky eaters?
For picky eaters, I would probably go ahead and choose something like a buffet, like a Crystal Palace or something like that. Hollywood and Vine. Because then you're going to have a massive spread of stuff you can go see. So you can look at it with your eyeballs and say, oh, this has a weird topping that I'm not going to like, or whatever. You can get a little bit more, and then you can just have a lot of whatever the one thing is that you like. You know what I mean? Instead of getting a whole plate of a bunch of different food that you're going to eat like one tiny corner of it because it's the only thing you like, and they put paprika all over everything else. So buffet is probably the safest. Otherwise, I think if you don't want to do a buffet, because I understand some people aren't into that, maybe something like Grand Floridian Cafe. That's going to have a lot of variety and it's very straightforward, standard stuff. But it's very good.
Or just go to Pinocchio's Village House.
Pinocchio Village. I mean, Pinocchio Village House is great for picky eaters.
It's about as straightforward as you get.
My suggestion for picky eaters was Harbor House.
Harbor House is good if they don't mind seafood. Now you can get chicken tenders there, you can get French fries there, but some picky eaters are real sensitive to they'll taste the fish even though it may not even be the same oil. Like they'll smell it and they'll sense that there's fish somewhere and they'll like not want to eat the food. So I'm thinking little kids too. Like little kids can be weird about that because you walk in there and it smells like fish. And so little kids might be like, no, I'm not gonna, but okay, I love just Columbia reminded
me, AJ, you said you went to school in London for a bit, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So did you ever find yourself eating at a Kentucky Fried Chicken while you were in England?
Oh my gosh, I went to TGI Fridays all the time in England. I was super pathetic as a American abroad.
Well, I can tell you from being in England in the mid to late 80s, we went to the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Norwich a couple of times, and it was awful because they feed their chicken fish meal.
Oh, weird. Interesting.
And their chicken tasted like fish. It was hideous.
Interesting.
That's
absolutely
weird.
Hideous.
I'm sure I went to a KFC at one point, but I don't remember that being my experience. But I was super when I was a student, so I had zero money at all. And so it was when I was living abroad in England and Switzerland, I basically was like weighing the fruit at the grocery store to find the smallest apple, because that's all the money I had was to, buy the smallest apple. I couldn't buy a slightly bigger apple because I didn't have enough money for it. So it was one of those things that I lived off of bread and soup once in a while.
So let me ask you this, because I think this will be fun. If you could revamp the menu at any restaurant on Disney property, change the theming, what have you, but revamp the menu at any restaurant, what would you pick and what kind of menu would you install?
I needed you to prep me with this question before, because here's something you need to know about me is I don't know how to cook, and I know you're not asking me to cook the food. But I'm not super innovative with coming up with dishes either. Like, I know what I like to eat and I know how to eat. But like when my kid was pretending to cook when he was little, you know how kids like get pots and pans and they pretend to cook. He would mime opening a microwave and putting stuff in the microwave and pressing the buttons, because that is how I cook. So basically, I'm going to say, if I'm going to revamp a menu, just put a lot of Monte Cristos and put a lot of queso in there, and I'll be happy.
Oh, Monte Cristos, man.
And probably some cake.
Okay, so if Disney was to come to you tomorrow and say, AJ,
yeah,
we will come up with the menu. What is the one movie that you want to see turned into a restaurant? What would it be?
Okay. WALL-E.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know why I said that. It's just the first one that popped into my head. It would just be all milkshakes, right? Like, that's all they drink, and WALL-E was milkshakes.
I would be totally on board with that. And if the seating was just those little lounge chair kind of thing.
Yeah, and you just have your own TV.
That would be perfect.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst answer to that question ever. I'm so sorry. I have to apologize to you and all of your viewers.
No, my daughter's over here going, that would be the best restaurant ever.
Oh, see, Lily, you're the best. Yeah, it's that's a bad answer, but and I do have to kind of say that doing this job has been so helpful to me in learning more about food. Like, I've gone to very, very fancy restaurants, and I know how to talk about it, and I know how to like or dislike that food, because I've learned so much from doing this for 10 years, because I am a very picky eater. So I've been in a lot of situations where I've had to eat things that I would never normally choose, and really had my eyes opened to some excellent stuff. And so I've been very lucky to talk to a lot of chefs who were kind enough to answer my stupid questions about everything. And that's why I love going to the Victoria and Albert's chef's table. It's not like I go there every Friday night, but like, when you go, that's an opportunity to talk to those chefs and ask them questions, because I don't know anything about cooking and food, and I'm learning as I go, and it's been so interesting and fun. So I'm grateful for that, but I am a picky eater at heart, and it's kind of pathetic.
So, actually, I think that's part of what makes your site so good, is because there's a lot of us who are on the picky eater side of things. I'm adventurous within the things that I like, but I'm not going to eat an octopus. I'm not going to eat squid.
Yeah.
You learn as you go. Lobster is giant ocean bugs. I'm not eating those. It's just, there's things, but within the wheelhouse of things that I like, I will branch out. I'll try different things, but some things I'm just not going to do. And I feel when I visit your site, I watch, I get your emails every day. I'm reading through the articles. I'm watching the videos. I'm like, this is somebody that I could hang out with, and we could go someplace and feel comfortable with the food here and talking about what's good and what's not. And I think that's probably because you do maybe come from that bit of a picky eater side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's important is just continuing to branch out and learn and try different things and see, what can you try once or twice. And like, something I really like talking about too on the site is, and on the videos, is what you can do at Disney to introduce your kids to food that maybe they haven't had or haven't tried. Like I'm ranking all the pizzas right now in a video, and we're talking about the Yasaki has a pizza bao bun. And I think a lot of kids going to Disney World haven't had a bao bun and they don't know what that's about. And but if you give them one that tastes like pizza, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I've had the experience of a bao bun now. I liked it. And now they have a little bit more, they've branched out a little bit and they know just a teeny tiny bit more about what Japanese food might look like. You know what I mean? And I think that's really cool that Disney lets you do that with your kids and kind of explore different foods and stuff like that. Even though I got sent to my room when I was little for not eating my dad made the food in my house, cottage pie, because I thought it was gross. And it was my brother's favorite thing we ate at the UK pavilion in Epcot. And so my dad made it and I said, this is gross. And they sent me to bed without dinner.
I'm going to make a confession here. I don't remember what we were having for dinner one night when I was a kid. But my dad's a Baptist preacher, and he said to me, so you say grace before we eat. And I'm like, all right. And I said, dear God, please make it so I don't have to eat this.
And your dad said, no problem.
He did. He sent me straight to my room.
Yep.
I didn't have to eat it.
Done and done. Prayers answered.
It was quick, but yeah, that's funny.
So AJ, I know you said you had about an hour.
Yep.
I do have one small request before you have to leave.
All right.
When you get ready to leave, will you leave us with your tagline that you end all your videos with?
The thanks for listening, thanks for watching, that one?
Yeah.
All right, sure.
I don't know why. I just like it. It's like, okay.
You got it. Am I doing that now?
Oh, whenever you get ready to leave, you just throw it out there and go.
Okay. Got it.
That's hysterical.
Yep. No problem. Well, I want to thank you guys so much. This has been so much fun. And thanks to everybody who's watching and the questions and stuff. And I appreciate all of you who have watched the videos and have supported our channel and the work that we do. We love it. I have an incredible team. I started this all on my own, just my husband and me. And as we've grown, we've brought on some really, really great team members. And they are just as dedicated to making sure that, we're getting the best information out to everybody. And our mantra is you don't like it or dislike it. You just explain what it's like. This is what the experience of this food is, or this ride or whatever. We're not going to say it's good or bad. We're just going to say, here's who would like this and here's who wouldn't, because we don't know. We're not trained. But we can explain what it's like. And then you can kind of it helps people figure out what makes sense to spend their money on, which is what I wanted to do from the very beginning. So thank you for trusting our team. Thank you for trusting me and watching our videos. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for
very, very popular in our circles.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All of y'all.
Well, man, it has been great having you on tonight. Like Josh said earlier, you have got an open invitation. Anytime you want to come on, just send us an email and we will send you a link.
All right. You got it. Thanks for emailing me. I appreciate that.
Like I said.
All right, here we go. Ready?
When I told you earlier that I actually got a little bit nervous when you actually responded.
He did.
I was like, whoa, hang on.
He texted me. He's like, she wrote back.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know.
Fangirl.
I don't even know what to say to that. I thank you for inviting me. I told y'all I don't know anything about comics, so thank you for not making me sound stupid on that front.
Hey, whether you're a comics fan or not, everybody has to eat.
That's true. There we go. That's why I do what I do. But I'll learn more about comics for next time. Okay, my kid is freaking out. I gotta go. All right, here we go. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.
Awesome.
That was great.
Thank you, AJ. We so appreciate you
coming on.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Right, bye. How awesome was that?
I'm exhausted. That did me in for the night. I'm ready to just go crawl in bed. I'm gonna take tomorrow off. I can't do anymore.
This sums it all up right here. Yay!
Dude, that was a friggin' blast. I loved every minute of that.
Yeah, I just could have gone on for like 4 hours.
I am not joking. I am so glad that we did it with just her voice, because it literally, there in the beginning, it got surreal there for just a second. I mean, talking to her backstage, it was just kind of like, hey, nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And then it was like just her voice. And it was just kind of like, oh, okay. Wow, it really is her.
Yeah, right. Because when you can't see her and you just hear the voice, you're like, yep, that's a voice I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, I will definitely be rewatching our own episode tomorrow at work.
I'm just happy that Lily has been hanging around this whole time, because Lily does not normally do that.
Dude, the second she found out it was AJ's night, she was like in the car. I'm just like, come on, let's go. And I figured she'd be in the other room half the night. Nope, she has been right here listening.
Well, I can't blame her one bit. That was awesome. Yeah, I know AJ is like, why are you excited to talk to me? But I mean, she kind of has what I think for a lot of us would be our dream job, right? I go to Disney World and I eat.
Yeah, really. I mean, you go to Disney World, you eat. I mean, that's like one of the first things that you do when you plan a Disney trip is you automatically start thinking about where you're going to eat at.
Well, you kind of have to if you want to eat anywhere good.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you got to plan it so far out in advance, so you got to look up the menus and everything. And honestly, I mean, for those of y'all who have not watched her channel, you really need to go check it out, because her videos are awesome. They're very well done, but she's really providing a outstanding free service by putting these videos out. I mean, and you're just not going to get any better coverage on food at Disney than you are her videos. And I mean, it's not just food. She does videos on the resorts, like, the best bang for your buck, things that's a waste of money, stuff like that. But yeah,
that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk to her about, because she said when she first started it, there was no niche podcast or no niche website, what have you, focusing on specific things like the food at Disney World, right? And now the Disney Food Blog is not just on the food; it's a general website that covers everything. So I think she kind of went the other. She started as the really hyper focused, but now she's expanded out to cover the whole enchilada, as it were.
Yep. No pun intended.
Oh, I intended it. I'm a bad person, but I intended that.
Hey, and I know we didn't get to talk about it, but have you eaten at Storybook Dining?
Storybook Dining, refresh my memory.
That is the one that's inside Wilderness Lodge.
Oh, that's right. That used to be Artist Point.
Yep.
I loved Artist Point, and I don't understand how Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fits into the Wilderness Lodge at all, thematically. I don't get it. So I haven't been able to bring myself to go back.
The reason why number one, the chef that's been there for like 30 years is still there. So they still have that amazing mushroom bisque.
I don't care about that. I liked the Buffalo Three Ways.
I don't think they had that when we were there.
They used to, and it was phenomenal.
But you do, and I don't know if it was there when you were there, but when you know how when you first walk up to Storybook Dining, and then you got the rampway that goes up, if you look to the left, they actually have Alex Ross's portrait of Snow White, the one that he did. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I didn't know they had that up there, though.
I don't know if it's the original one, but it is hanging up there, or at least it was hanging up there when we went, and they actually had like some smaller portraits around it. And I saw Josh Billy put up here about Josh with Resort TV 1. He has actually, I have talked to him, and he has got 2 channels going now. He is also a band teacher, and he goes live at Disney 2-3 nights a week on the weekends and stuff, and he just does not have time. I mean, he is an extremely busy person, plus, family man and all that. But Josh of Resort TV 1 knows that he's got an open invitation too. So hopefully one day we'll have him on, because I would love to tech talk with him.
I will say Lou Mongello and I have talked. We're just working out a day that works on his calendar, but he said he will be happy to come on. And Spider Girl, we can reach out to Defunct Land and see if we can't get them on, because I would love to talk some a swimming hole over there at the old Wilderness Lodge or Wilderness Campground and all that. Some crazy stuff with that. But we got some comics in, and we got some comics related things I wanted to show off and talk to people about if we have a few minutes still.
No, we've got all the time you need. I'm still just like buzzing like a bee over here.
Alan, you want to tell people about this one that we just got in? Because I know you're excited about that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm about 99.9% sure I have that one at home.
I think you do, but you know why this one's important?
Why is that?
Because it's the first appearance of the Living Mummy.
Oh, yeah, duh. I was thinking like maybe it was signed or something. I'm like leaning in trying to get a better look.
No, it's Supernatural Thrillers number 5. That's the first Living Mummy.
Yeah. I need to check my stuff when I get home.
Apparently you do.
Yeah, because like I said, I think I've got that one, that particular issue.
So, yay or nay, do you need this one?
Nay, I've got that one.
Your first
look at it for a second.
Your Origin of Dr. Fate?
Yep, I've got that one.
I bet you need this one.
Oh, you know I need that one.
That number 104.
Beautiful. Need it.
And I don't know if you need this or not, but we just got this one. Amazing Spider-Man number 150.
That is a nice looking cover. It really is.
That's a great cover. There's so much going on there.
My only problem with that is I am also pillaging your Daredevil back issues and against the back wall.
Oh, that's been you, huh?
Well, yeah.
No.
It's not just you. Matt Ligon is hitting that pretty hard, and so is Bill Hubsher.
Yeah, I saw that. Is it issue 240, Born Again?
Yeah.
I couldn't get that one to the counter and get Tom to ring that one up fast enough for me.
Fantastic Four number 118.
Nice.
None of these are real high dollar books. They're just cool.
They're fun.
I got some Suicide Squad, whoop-de-doo. This one I thought, it never occurred to me back in the day that this cover would be of anything of interest because it was just so plain and whatnot. But this would be a great sketch cover to sketch something in that window.
You know not necessarily the one that they did for the movie, but I think what would look wasn't that one the first appearance of Victor Zaja?
I don't remember. I do not remember. I have to check.
If it is, do like something with him on the cover, or just do like the Joker smile across it.
Ooh, yeah, that would be awesome. We got Marvel Adventure featuring Daredevil number 1. The Tri-Man lives. This is a fun one, and I know if Tom Price is watching, he's going to want this. This is the Masterwork series of great comic book artists, number 1, spring of 1983, Frank Frazetta.
Oh yeah, I think he would definitely want that one.
How awesome is that?
It looks like it's in really good condition too.
It is in spectacular shape. It really is. And for those covers with the all black, that's hard to come by.
Yep.
Just because this one's fun, we got us West Coast Avengers number 1. Another fun one that I love, we got us a New Warriors number 1. If you want G.I. Joe number 1 but can't afford it, you can get Tales of G.I. Joe number 1, the reprint. It is much more affordable.
It was actually something I'm trying to look up on my phone because I wanted to ask you while we're sitting here.
This is written by Roy Thomas with art by P. Craig Russell. Michael Moorcock's Elric number 1. Again, not a high dollar book, but a phenomenal comic. And holy Lord, what a great book.
Elric is a great character.
Oh, yeah. Check this out. Monsters Unleashed.
Nice.
That's just fun.
Yes, it is. What I don't even understand my fascination with the art from that time period.
Because it's fantastic.
Especially horror art.
And then this one's related to the show tonight. Really, really cool, really unusual. If you know Carl Barks, who did all the Uncle Scrooge comics for the longest time, before Don Rosa took over eventually, Carl Barks is just a god amongst comics, and just for his work on Uncle Scrooge, and it's incredible. This is a magazine dedicated to Carl Barks's comics. And the funny thing is, this went on for a while because this is number 42. I have never seen an issue of this in my life. This is crazy.
Is every single one about him, or is it one of those, it's like a collective work, so each issue would be about somebody different, it just has that name?
No, it's about his comics and the various comics and stuff that he worked on. And if I recall correctly, I've never seen one before. I've heard of them, but I've never seen one before. And I just got this today, so I haven't opened the bag, which I just did. I'm about to find out if I can get this tape off my finger, because it's all sticky on one side. Why is the tape all sticky?
Don't let the tape grab.
I think that it's got some reprints in it, maybe. No, it's a price guide.
It's a price guide.
Something. Maybe that's not. Maybe you can order this stuff. What is this? This is bizarre. Up front, it has articles.
Yeah.
And such. Oh, it's the wraparound cover. I didn't realize.
So, as comic book collectors, why do we get excited about wraparound covers?
Because it's a surprise. You didn't know it was there until oh, there it is. It's not an ad for, Hostess Twinkies or, fruit pies or whatever. Okay, I see. This is a list of, once it gets past the articles here, this is really fascinating. It seems to be from determining. It's about lithographs, and then it's issue numbers, story title, description and comments, and then the original source. So DuckTales #1, The Lost Crown of Genghis Khan.
Nice.
DuckTales #2, The Giant Robot Robbers. DuckTales #3, The Round Money Bin.
Does it have pictures?
No, it's just a list.
It's just a list.
It's just lists. And this goes on for pages because it's got DuckTales, it's got Uncle Scrooge Adventures, Donald Duck Adventures, Christmas Parade. So some of those comics you just showed off earlier would be in here.
Cool.
And this goes on for, Lord, if you ever wanted to know where, what comics you were missing and what they were about, this is a phenomenal resource. That goes on for a bit. Most of the magazine is made up of that. And then you get to letters to the Barks collector. So people have got letters that they have sent in. That's a couple of pages. Then they've got some art, some Carl Barks lithographs that they have for sale. In see what date is this? On the inside front cover, they asked if you have any ideas for articles. It's time you sent one in.
The best number is 25, by the way, Spider Girl.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, the date on this is nowhere to be found.
Oh, wait a minute. Spider Girl 42. Didn't you tell me that you used to have box 51? Was that you that was telling me that?
I don't remember what her box number used to be.
On the quiz show one night, you had shown something, and I was like, toss that in box 51. And they're like, hey, that's my old box.
That could be. I don't know.
And I could have swore it was her.
Oh, check this out. Action Force. What number? Number 1.
Number 1. Oh, Blue Hellion, the reason why the best number is 25 is because that's what number Mark McGuire for the Cardinals wore. Uh-huh.
Also, the G.I. Joe coloring and activity book in case we ever get bored.
You know, the collector in me would never take it out of the bag, but the kid in me would like rip that bad boy out and start coloring in a heartbeat.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
Well, I guess I could color it and then get Jay Thornton to press it and clean it, and then I'll act like it was never opened.
Quick answer for your question here, Bill. Junkyard Joe had the distinguished characteristic of having every single copy that we had come in damaged. Every single copy we got in of Junkyard Joe was damaged, so we are waiting for replacement copies. Kyle. Yeah, have a great one, Kyle, man. It's always good to see you, sir.
Isn't it kind of weird how that happens? Like, everything will be fine, and then one particular title, they'll all be damaged?
Well, in this case, Lisa can answer this better than I can, but from the sound of things, they dropped a box on its edge, or somebody kicked it, or they hit it with a forklift. But we had a whole bunch of comics damaged in this week's shipment.
Well, I actually had an extremely light week this week, so.
Yeah, but you also had last week.
Yep. Now I'll be taking care of that tomorrow. Can't wait.
Well, I know that Tom will be happy to see it. For anybody who missed it, have you been? Let me first ask this question, Alan. Have you been reading? What? Gosh, now the title's gone. Is it 8 Million Genies?
I missed the boat on that one entirely.
You have not missed the boat yet. 8 billion genies. That's it. They just announced that for local comic shop day, Image is putting out a blank cover of 8 billion genies #1 with the silhouette of one of the genies on the cover, and they're doing an art contest where you go in and you draw and design your own genie in there. And then you have to post it to Instagram, and then you can win a signed hardcover book of 8 billion genies for you and one for your comic shop. So you can get you a really cool #1 and customize it and maybe even win something awesome.
Nice. I saw something, you posted it on Facebook. What day is it? Isn't it like during the week or something?
Well, local comic shop day, they ask every year, when do we want to have local comic shop day? And they're like, do you want it the Saturday before Thanksgiving? Do you want it the Wednesday before Thanksgiving? The Saturday after Thanksgiving? I'm like, the Saturday before Thanksgiving makes a heck of a lot more sense to me.
Yep.
Well, the people who picked Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, won this year. I don't know why, but they did.
See, to me, I mean, that's a day that we're not allowed to go to the comic book store because we're having to go to the grocery store to buy all the crap that our wives forgot. Or to go pick up the next Walmart order.
That's why we are conveniently just on the other side of 72 from Kroger.
That's pretty slick. But, me, I'll just leave work early, then play it off.
It sounds like a popularity contest. Well, I'm sure it will be, but that's just the mechanism that they're using to see people's entries. It's not there's not a vote thing or anything like that. It's just that's how you alert them that you have an entry, and then they're going to collect them all and decide which ones they like best. But yeah, I'm excited about that. That's going to be fun. If they were looking for a way to get stores to increase their orders on that, they just found one. Because I want to draw one or two little those guys in there. That'll be fun. I'll enjoy that. Seems like that'll be a good time for everybody. I'll show off something else I just got, although no one will care except for you, Alan.
That's fine.
Actually, I got 2 things to show off, and you'll be the only one that cares about probably both of them. Just had this come in.
Oh, cool.
the Blue Ninja action figures.
Yep.
I'm excited about that. But the one that I think you're going to particularly care about is, let me see here. It's not this one. I think you might care about this one some, but you're not going to be head over heels for it.
Embiggen yourself. Was that the image? Yeah, that's the image one. Not having to lean into the. Yeah. That's still, I mean, it's a nice looking cover.
That's one of the best covers ever. It beats the pants off the J. Scott Campbell cover.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
What did you think about the Images run on G.I. Joe?
It was great. It was very underrated. And it was before it was Image, it was Devil's Due. Yeah. And then it went to Image. It was still Josh Blaylock doing his Devil's Due run. But you can still get those trades as G.I. Joe Classified. And they're very, very good. I would strongly recommend them to a fan. It took a little bit of a time to find its stride because they started with the basic idea that there's for every G.I. Joe whose name you know, there's like 100 of them whose name you don't know.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I was going to let you handle that.
What are you talking about, Nick? No, I agree. Tom Bombadil is one heck of an interesting character, but he would have never worked in the movies. How would you explain that? You wouldn't have time to set up and explain that at all. Whereas when you read the book, you just accept that he's this weird dude that lives on the edge of the Shire. Or close to the edge of the Shire. So this is the thing that I think you might be interested in, Alan. I just got this. This just came in. This is the cover C of Noctera #1, signed by Tony Daniels in a 9.6.
Cool.
Look at that.
That is beautiful.
Gosh, I wish you could. That glare is murder.
Yeah, I was having issues with that earlier. Noctera is on their hiatus right now, correct?
Yep.
They're taking so long off. That has been a great read. I'd heard that they were shopping it around and optioning it for television.
It would be a phenomenal show on HBO or Amazon or something like that. It would be fantastic.
Speaking of television, and I know a quick Google search would give me this answer, but that's just not fun. Has Interview with the Vampire started on AMC yet?
I have heard that it has. I have not seen it, but I've heard a few friends who have said it's fantastic.
So I've been wanting to watch it to see how they do Lestat. I mean, Louis is just a big old whiny baby throughout the entire book series. He really didn't become interesting until Queen of the Dam, as far as I was concerned.
Hang on, we got to go back. It's Tom Bombadil and Angel. His wife, Goldberry, I very much get is a lesser Maiar. Tom Bombadil might be one of the Maiar. He's definitely not one of the Valar. But every indication is he's not really either. He's something other. And Tolkien never really gets into what he is. He's an unusual dude. Kaylisa has said I should cosplay as Tom Bombadil. Where I'm going to get a blue jacket and yellow boots, I don't know. That's a mystery. But goodness knows.
Indy, okay, hang on a second. I need to address this. Oh, sorry. I don't think indie options are dead. I don't personally view Image Comics as an indie comic. I really don't. They've been around way too long and they're way too big as far as I'm concerned. And have you read Noctera? Noctera was absolutely fantastic. I mean, they did a really good job with this. And yeah, they I know they had been shopping it around. I'd heard that they were looking at 2 possible homes, but we'll have to wait and see. That has been let's take Basilisk, for example. I kind of fell out with Basilisk. It got old pretty quick. It just kind of started, it seemed to be like the same thing over and over and over again. But Noctera has been a solid story from beginning to so far. And Blacktop Bill is a pretty awesome freaking character in that comic. It makes a really good bad guy, anti-hero, whatever you want to actually call him at this point. Sorry, there's my rant for the night.
It's a good rant. That's a totally acceptable rant. I'm on board with that rant.
I'll tell you what, I've had a big night. I truly have. I had a good rant. I asked at least one good question. AJ was friggin' awesome. I just don't know how we're going to top this.
I don't know either. AJ was awesome, and she's definitely a person after my own heart.
Yep.
Buffalo Bills fan, a bit of a picky eater, but a happy eater. Loves Disney World, loves all. Yeah, she's definitely my kind of people.
I'm out.
Poor thing.
Why is the rum gone?
To be honest with you, I was really just being a smart aleck with the cup and the hat. So it actually had Sprite in it. And I actually absolutely love this mug. I really do.
What a phenomenal mug. I'm with you on that.
Yep. Being a girl dad, I get the distinct honor of going into stores that I would not normally go into. And I believe we actually found this one at a place called Box Lunch in Opry Mills Mall.
That was Mama, not me.
You know what? Mama. The majority of the money was still spent on you. So
I got one jacket.
I got one. You got one jacket plus your Avengers pullover.
That was the jacket.
That was not a jacket. That was a pullover.
That's a jacket.
It is not a jacket.
It's a sweatshirt.
It's still not a jacket.
So something you put on over your shirt to keep you warm.
Yep. And I saw the mug and it was like, yeah, I got to have this. Josh is like, oh, no, proceed. Continue to argue.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. I just was going to go get some popcorn.
Yeah, really. So that's kind of where we are. That's the thing about being a girl dad. You end up in stores you normally wouldn't go in and you find cool stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. What would you do if you didn't have me?
I would be spending a hell of a whole lot more money at Haven.
In that case, I can't wait for you to grow up, Lily.
Oh, yeah.
So, I just had an idea. You tell me what you think.
All right, what you got?
You and me double cosplay Robin Hood and Little John.
Well, that visual just hit me. Yeah, I think we can do it. I'm not wearing tights.
I think the visual hit you because they don't have any pants.
Well, yeah, that's what kind of hit me there for a second. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Oh, yeah. Now, that would be funny. You know what? I would rock Lady Clump. Yes, I would rock her.
Yes, you would. That scene where she goes and bowls them all over like in the football game. Oh
yeah.
That is a classic.
Mommy.
Mommy.
I'm going to have to watch that movie this weekend now.
7 years bad.
So, yeah, literally, my go-to Disney movies are Peter Pan and Robin Hood. I cannot get enough of either one of those movies.
So let me ask you this. If you were going to design an attraction at Disney World based on Robin Hood, what would you do?
Honestly, I think I would do some type of dark ride, and it would be kind of like a combination of the Winnie the Pooh dark ride, and I've only seen videos of it. I haven't actually been on the ride, but a combination of that and the new Ratatouille ride, and it would actually be the archery scene where they're doing the contest. You would actually ride through the contest and everything.
What about when they're getting they're stealing the money from the castle or whatever?
Okay, that's exactly where I was going, Lily. I'm picturing a ride like where you ride up.
Yeah.
And you're in something nondescript looking vehicle wise. It kind of like a dune buggy maybe, except you're riding on a rope, right? And as you ride up, you're riding through the front part of the story. You get to the middle part where you go around at a level, and then on the part where they steal the money, you're one of the money bags coming down the rope.
Now that would be cool. Now,
and you just have not in Nottingham.
Yeah. If I could do any movie into a ride, it would probably end up being Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, where you hop on a bed and off you go?
Yep, I think that's a missed opportunity as far as a ride is concerned.
One of the best Disney movies too.
Yep, and easily one of the top 5 Disney movies as far as we're concerned.
The Boom Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Top 2 for
The
me.
Island of Boom Boom.
Wait, it's one of your top 2?
Yeah.
What's your other one?
Tangled.
All
right. A little bit of old school, a little bit of new school. I dig it.
The Tangled is when she was little, like little, she was fascinated with Tangled. She would watch it like all the time. Frozen come out. She went through her Frozen phase, and you know how I knew when the Frozen.
Only 2-year-old that could say fractals.
Yeah,
correctly.
She would. Yeah, 2 years old, and she's singing Frozen fractals all around. I knew that the Frozen phase was over with because I literally walked in the house from work one day. You could not hear "Let It Go," but you know what you heard? Mandy Moore singing again. She was right back to Tangled.
And at last I see the light.
Round of applause. Beautiful.
She goes back to that movie every single time.
One of the best.
I tell you, some of the ones that I go back to because I just can't get them enough is Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fantastic movie.
I don't think I've seen
that. I'm sorry, what?
I don't think I've seen that one all the way through.
Oh, you've got to see that. That's a classic. And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen that one.
Love it.
As bizarre as it is, and I cannot watch it that often, but when I'm in the mood, I'm definitely going to watch it. Black Hole.
Black Hole, I didn't get the chance to see it when I was a kid, but I had the coloring book.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, this is cool. And that red robot is terrifying. And then Leslie and I watched Black Hole maybe 10 years ago.
Yep.
And we're like, what just happened?
Exactly.
Because that ending is so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It is so bizarre and it's so weird. And you're going, did they just die and go to hell? Is Maximilian the robot? Is he the devil? Mm-hmm. What is this? I had a real hard time with that. I was like, I don't know what just happened here, but that was weird.
And then it was like a funky little Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory scene where they're like going through the whatever. Yeah, it made no sense whatsoever, and I loved it for some reason. But it's one of those movies I can only watch it just ever so often.
This is a really good point. Yep. Yep, you are correct.
Yep, we've spent a good part of our lives growing up to Zachary Levi's voice.
Yeah, because Tangled and Shazam, both.
I will say this, and I know for non-Disney people this is going to sound very strange, but Tangled does not have an attraction at Walt Disney World, but they do have bathrooms. This whole section, and they call them the Tangled toilets. But the men's room, the decoration in the men's room, from what I understand, is different from the decoration in the women's room. And in the men's room, they have posters, like wanted posters up of Flynn Rider. And there's multiple pictures of him, all with a different nose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hysterical what a difference it makes to how that character looks, with the only difference being his nose.
That is the one area I never would have imagined. Like our first trip to Disney, I never would have imagined that I would have went to a Disney park and took pictures of the bathroom area. I mean, it's just a fun area of the park. I mean, they definitely nailed it.
And then you get to see the tower too.
Yep.
They have the tower.
Can confirm the women's bathroom is much more boring.
Well, we're going to have to take your word for that.
Yes. Yes, I'm not getting thrown out of the parks for saying I just wanted to see what the decorations were like in here.
You know, we were there one time and I was kind of, you know, picking and choosing and kind of sizing everybody up. You know, you can definitely tell who a manager is at Disney just by the way they're dressed.
Yep.
But I kept seeing all these younger managers, and I finally saw an older gentleman over at Big Top Circus. And he comes walking through, and I was like, "Excuse me, I got a question for you." And he kind of looked at me funny, like, "Is anything wrong?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, but I really singled you out because you look to be about my age, maybe just a little bit older. I'm looking for anything Swamp Fox." And he got this grin on his face and he goes, "No one has ever asked me about that type stuff before." I was like, "Is there anywhere in any of these parks that might just have something Swamp Fox?" And he goes, "If anybody had it, the Emporium would have it, but I'm pretty sure they don't have it either."
No.
And I mean, that was like there's always a little something that from the reason why I like Swamp Fox is I remember being younger and we only had one Disney Channel.
Oh, yeah.
And you would come home from school and Swamp Fox was actually one of the shows that they would play.
Yep.
And I remember watching the black and white Swamp Fox. It was great.
Swamp Fox and Zorro. Zorro was fantastic.
Yep.
I like the recommendation. That's got to scroll up a little bit. Here it is. No, wait, where'd it go? I could have sworn. Oh, there it is. It says you two should dress as Robin Hood and Little John, and I should be Friar Tuck.
Okay.
You've got more of the hair for Friar Tuck. I should be Little John, and you could be Friar Tuck.
I've definitely got the hair for Friar Tuck.
Glorious.
But then again, I mean, are we going to get like, I was worried about my hair tonight too because I didn't want all three of them getting all crazy while AJ was on.
No, you want to impress.
Yeah, I need to keep them slicked back.
That's when you just.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Oh, Lord. Well, that was really exciting. I was glad to have her on. I appreciate everybody jumping on and participating, asking a lot of questions. I was sorry we only had her for such a short time because that hour flew by. But hopefully we can bring her back sometime and talk about some other questions because I noticed she got to duck out of the question about what was the worst dining experience you ever had.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to that answer too because that, believe it or not, that was actually on my list of questions to ask. And we covered just about every single question that I wanted to ask. So,
Yep. But I'm excited. I get to make some dining reservations tomorrow, so I'm all on board for that.
You're going to have to get up at the butt crack of dawn.
Yeah, I wasn't real thrilled about that, but I appreciated the heads up.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. So, before we let everybody go, anything you want to let people know about? What's coming on this week? What's happening?
I know of absolutely nothing that's going on this week. It's just been insane. Haven Comics keeps typing all this stuff up. What about you? You got anything HR that we need to know about?
Well, while HR is typing up a response, yes, I think I will take her advice about the website versus the phone. 2, we got in a huge shipment of RPGs and dice and all kinds of things this week. So if you're looking for some RPGs, this would be a great time to come and pick some up. We got in 7th Seas, which is a like 18th century pirate RPG, which looks awesome. We got in, gosh, what else did we get? Did we get in the Bronze Age RPG? I want to say we did. Is Josh going to be singing or at the shop? This week, no singing. The following week, singing. For everybody who wants to know, the wedding was beautiful. It was glorious last Saturday. A couple that met at Haven for free RPG Day actually just got married. They met up there at Free RPG Day of 2019, and they just got married last Saturday. And I sang at their wedding. It was fantastic. It was so beautiful.
It's venomous.
It really was. It was gorgeous. But no, I will be there this week, Nick. Come on out. It would be good to see you guys. And as Kaylisa pointed out, we got a bunch. There were some pretty rough damages this week in our shipment. So if a comic is not in your box and you thought it would be, just be patient, because we had to mail off a very long list to Diamond to get replacements for our comics. So I guess with that, we'll let everybody go for the night. Ellie just said she wanted to come and see Josh. Well, gosh darn, she's a cute kid. Bring her on up. We'll be there. We'll have pizza. Does she like pizza? What does she like on a pizza? Is she just a cheese pizza? Does she like branch out into pepperoni? What does she like? Text me, let me know. We'll make sure she has something she likes. But anywho, we'll let everybody go. It was a wonderful night. Thank you all for participating. And as always, we like to show this one off because it's a fun closing out video, even though we're not a quiz show anymore.